This is Matthew, author, artist, and commentator. I run luminousbeings.blog, where you can find all my articles, stories, drawings, and podcasts. So, this is Matthew. I'm stuck in an airport, and I just finished watching a Kamen Rider movie. By the way, I'm stuck here for 4 hours, so I might be coming back after I finish the X8 Another Ending trilogy. I just watched Heisei Generations, which was really cool. So I'm into tokusatsu. It's one of the things I like a lot, and it's something I will put energy into and talk about and watch and whatnot. So anyway, I think I had heard on Oncoming Cast RX that the Brave movie was bad, and or Brave Snipe movie was bad, and I think I know why. I really liked the movie up until the very end, and there were some things that I liked everything in the movie actually. There was so this will be spoiler full, I guess. There was a insinuation from Lovelica that Taiga and Saibaniko are into each other, interested in having a relationship, a romantic relationship. They definitely always seem more like brother and sister, but could get romantic. Not because brothers and sisters get romantic typically, or that's the norm, but just because relationships can change over time, and people can start out as not liking each other and then become acquaintances, and then eventually develop a friendship and then a romance from that. It's very possible. So anyway, there's this other character introduced, and it feels like there's kind of a love triangle being played out between them, but really the more interesting triangle of love or heartache or strong emotion is between Taiga, Hiro, and Saki, who makes a return. And I really liked the interplay of the story between the three of them. What I didn't like was at the very end, Hiro kind of beats Lovelica. Lovelica is a bugster who's a romance simulator bugster. So violence is punished in the game, so you can't beat him with violence, you beat him with words or with charm, with being more attractive. And it's within the parameters of his game that he sets. So Hiro does this big accounting of his sins to reference another Kamen Rider, and in so doing, he's acting out violence against Lovelica. But in my opinion, what he's really doing is showing that he's showing humility, and humility is very attractive, or at least I think it is. And I think the Saki who appears there, the restored Saki, also thinks so, and I think that's really how he wins, is that he's being contrite and repentant, and he's apologizing for not making time for her. And their relationship could have been really interesting, because he's so focused on becoming the world's greatest doctor, or getting a scalpel in his hands, as he said, which sounds creepy. And you realize he wants to help people, but he's so obsessed with that, he's single-mindedly focused on that, and she's trying to tell him to eat. And she's telling him to eat regular food, and then eventually, she pushes the sweets on him to help him. I think it's how it goes. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen X8, probably 2 years. Anyway, or a full year since I've seen any of it, of the show proper, actually, because I've been watching the bonus stuff sort of throughout. Anyway, wrapping up my point, or getting to my point, the thing that made me dislike the movie, I can accept it kind of with a twinge of pain. Well, there were a couple things. One was how focused the camera got on the female doctor lady who works with gene therapy or whatever they explained it to be. She definitely seemed like she was going to be a villain or something, but they definitely played up her sensuality, I guess let's say. And that always bugs me, because it seems unnecessary. Then again, not then again. That's where I stand. I think it's unnecessary. Anyway, the point I was trying to get to is that when Hiro makes his apology to Saki, she ends up telling him, no, I should have loved you for who you were, and you were who you were, and I should have accepted that. Now, it's been a long time since I've listened to anything Dr. Laura Schlesinger, who's now on, I think, Sirius XM or whatever. It's been a long time since I listened to anything she said, and I have my problems with her, but I think a lot of her advice holds true. One of her sayings that she came up with, or a maxim that she created, was don't marry an elephant, or don't bring home an elephant and then get mad at it when it doesn't sit in your lap and purr. What does that mean? It actually sounds kind of like a Dr. Phil thing. Anyway, what that means is you can't love and accept one type of person and form a relationship, whether you're shacked up, which probably isn't wise given the statistics, or you're married to them, you shouldn't marry somebody and then be shocked that they are who they are. And Saki kind of makes that point. But Hiro was wrong for living his life imbalanced, in an imbalanced manner. Now, would it have been better? So, anyway, she says, like, basically, I held you back, and you were doing what you needed to do to become the world's best doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was really awful because, yeah, she was holding him back by telling him to be a person, and he went through this whole character arc throughout X-Aid, and I think in this movie, too, he goes through it where he realizes that he was living in this terribly imbalanced way, and he needed her to ground him. And they could have been friends, and she would have grounded him. They could have been, aromantically involved, and she could have been a grounding effect for him. Nico, who is not a romantic partner to Taiga explicitly, or not yet in the way or in the show because she was too young at the time, and now she's going off to America and stuff. She does balance him, and he balances her a little bit. She's mostly fine, but she's got her issues. By the way, when she was wailing on Luke, that was amazing. That was so gratifying, even though I'm not, again, I don't like violence, but the way it was displayed was awesome, because he was like coming after her and like trying to get her to play this game to marry him and stuff, and like that's it's a little weird. But anyway, yeah, so my wife and I have a relationship kind of like Saki and Hiro. Of course, I'm not trying to be a doctor, but I have things that I'm focused on, and I have like a singular, very narrow focus, and I probably have an unhealthy focus on certain things, like maybe what I'm doing right now. And my writing, and there's all sorts of things I want to do, because I have the artistic narcissism, I think, is what I've settled at calling it or describing it as. Anyway, man, that sucks. Sorry, somebody is like struggling with something, and I can't go help them, and they look like they're in trouble. No, they're fine. They're good. Anyway, but I have like this artistic narcissism where I like need to do my art, and I need to create, and I need to be doing all this stuff and putting all this time into things that don't necessarily benefit me and the family. Now I'm saddled, one might say, with a wife and 3 kids, who I'm basically nullify some of myself to. So I guess I'm like, am I like Saki or am I like Hiro? I'm like what Hiro wants to be. Like Hiro's saying like, no, I need to live a life of balance, and I can't just be narrowly focused. And, my wife is like the Saki, saying like, hello, you gotta like, be part of the family and stuff. And I think that's very appropriate. I definitely think putting that in putting that in a kid's show, it's interesting, because is it a kid's show? It's a direct-to-DVD thing. It's probably for more serious fans of the show. They kind of play up the lady being pretty or whatever, attractive. They get like slightly like teen. They get teen in their approach to things, but just they don't handle it well or responsibly, and it seems like a really unhealthy message. And Hiro kind of pushes back against Saki against what she's saying, but he's like, oh, okay, I'll listen. I'll become the world's best doctor, but I'm also gonna love you. And he didn't say that. He didn't, and I was very unsatisfied with that, because it seems like the woman has to fall on her sword. I mean, maybe it would have been better if she'd said like, hey, bud, like we should have been friends. We should never have gotten involved because you weren't ready. I think that's a way more mature, way more nuanced, way more interesting thing to say than like, yep, I should have just accepted you being you and not wanted to change you at all or do anything. Not that I think it's good to try to change somebody, but I think it's bad to for somebody to have faults and for you to not ever want them to grow or improve or change. Maybe there shouldn't be like a stipulation that you will only be, well, it would probably be wise for you to choose not to be in a relationship with somebody who's toxic or unhealthy or whatever, a romantic relationship where you're so tightly bounded to them or bonded to them. It'd probably be wise for you to choose that. And if you could choose to be with them, befriend them, and wait to form a romantic relationship with them until they're healthy and in a good place, that's probably going to be the best thing for you. And I felt like the movie was kind of saying that's not what you should do, and that's like, silly. Yeah, that's it. All that being said, there was a bunch of really, really cool stuff in the movie that I appreciated seeing, and I loved all the interaction between the characters, and it was cool that it's been 2 years since the end of X-Aid, and that they're carrying on the story. And I don't know, I just really appreciate how, at the end of X-Aid, the final episode, there was a little thing that said, the game never ends, and like, it isn't ending, and that's pretty fun for me. So I guess I'll report back after the Paradox movie or the Pallid Poppy movie. So yeah, see you in a while. Paste in a little. Also, I'm going to paste in a little interaction between Nico and Taiga that I think is just classic and hilarious. So enjoy that.
もうお前の面倒を見なくて済むと思うとせいせいするな。
それこっちのセリフ。
菓子ばっか食ってたら廃人するぞ。
どうせもうあんたには失って困るものは何もないんでしょ。
まあ困ったことがあれば連絡しろ。お前がどこに行こうが主治医は俺だ。
じゃあ私が風邪ひいたらアメリカに飛んできてね。
は？
私が電話したら30分で来てね。
いけるか。宅配ピザじゃねえんだよ。
はい、バイバイ。
Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Tweet me at RC_moon. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more.